Stop overcomplicating this. Just answer the question. That's not me insulting you. That's apparently how you should be talking to ChatGPT. I know, it sounds insane, right? But researchers at Penn State just published a study that flipped everything we assumed about AI interaction completely upside down. They took 50 questions across math, science, and history, rewrote each one at 5 different levels of politeness, from "would you be so kind as to help me?" all the way down to "you poor creature, do you even know how to solve this?" 250 prompts, rigorous statistical testing, and here's what they found. Very polite prompts, they have an accuracy of 80.8%. The ruder they were, the better the AI performed. Now, before you start calling ChatGPT names, that's not actually the lesson here. What this research reveals is something far more important. The exact words you use when talking to AI dramatically changes what you get back. Those polite phrases, "please, if you don't mind, would you be so kind?" they're not appreciated, they're just noise. Noise the model has to filter through before it gets to your actual request. Most people treat AI like a Google search bar, type something vague, and hope for the best. But the gap between a mediocre prompt and an engineered prompt, that's the difference between AI being a frustrating toy and AI being your most valuable business asset. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to close that gap. Whether you're a business owner automating workflows, a marketer generating content, a developer writing code, or someone who wants AI to actually deliver value, prompt engineering is the skill that separates people who play with AI from people who leverage it. By the end of this video, you'll understand what prompt engineering is and why it's becoming a critical business skill. How AI models actually process your words, because once you understand this, everything clicks. A complete framework for writing prompts that get results, and concrete ROI this delivers for your work and your bottom line. Let's get into it. What is prompt engineering? Before we get to the how-to, we need to understand the what. Prompt engineering is the art and science of designing inputs that guide AI models to produce the outputs you actually want. A prompt isn't just a question, it's instructions, it's context, it's constraints, it's examples. It's everything you give the AI before it generates a response. Here's the mental model. Think of an LLM as a highly capable intern with temporary amnesia. They have all these skills, they have all the knowledge, but they don't remember anything about your company, your context, or your preferences. If you don't provide complete information, that intern has to guess. And in business, guessing costs money. Every minute an employee spends going back and forth with AI, rephrasing questions, getting unusable inputs, that's wasted productivity. Companies that systemize prompt engineering into their workflows are seeing 40 to 60% time savings on content creation, research, and analysis tasks. That is a competitive advantage. We're in a transition period where AI literacy is becoming as critical as computer literacy was in the 90s. The people who master this now are positioning themselves for an economy that will increasingly reward human-AI collaboration. Most people think prompt engineering is about finding magic phrases or secret tricks. It's not. It's about understanding how these systems process information and then communicating accordingly, which brings us to the mechanics. Concept 1 is tokenization. When you type a prompt, the AI doesn't see words the way you do. It breaks your text into tokens, roughly words or parts of words. The sentence, "I want to write better prompts," becomes an itemized list. Now, why does this matter, you ask? AI models have token limits. They can only process so much text at once. GPT-4 handles about 128k tokens in its context window. Now that might sound like a lot, but when you're including documents or complex instructions, it fills up fast. The practical implication is to be concise when you can, but don't sacrifice the clarity. Every word should earn its place. The second concept is context windows and attention. The context window is everything the AI considers when generating a response. Your prompt, the previous conversations, any document included. The AI then uses attention mechanisms to determine which parts of the context are most relevant to what it's generating. Here is the critical insight. Information at the beginning and end of your prompt gets weighted more heavily than information buried in the middle, Researchers call this lost in the middle phenomenon. So, you should put your most important instructions at the start. Restate critical constraints at the end. Don't bury key information in paragraph 4 of a wall of text. The third concept is next token prediction. At its core, every LLM operates on one principle: predicting what comes next. When you give it a prompt, it's calculating the statistical probability of the next token. Then it generates that token, adds it to the context, and calculates again, over and over. If your prompt is vague, the probability cloud is massive. The model could go in 1,000 directions, so it picks the most generic, average response. But when you add specificity, when you constrain the task, provide examples, define the format, you're shrinking that probability cloud. You're forcing the AI's attention onto relevant patterns. Do not expect AI to read your mind. The more explicit you are about what you want, the more accurately it can pattern match to useful outputs. Individual prompts are powerful, but for a business, they don't scale on their own. Most companies have an AI strategy gap. They have the tools, but no system, no workflow, no way to ensure consistent outputs across organizations. If your team is stuck in that gap, this is exactly what we help solve. We build the systems that make AI a core driver of ROI. My email's in the description if you want to move from experimenting to executing. Now, let's get into the heavy lifting. I've synthesized the research, the academic literature, and real-world testing into a framework called C.R.A.F.T. Each letter represents a layer you add to your prompts to dramatically improve outputs. Let's break down each component. Context. Context is the foundation. You're answering what does the AI need to know to do this well. This includes background information relevant to the task, the role you want the AI to assume, the audience the output is for, constraints or requirements that matter. Let's have a look at an example. A bad prompt is write a marketing email. A good prompt is you are a senior copywriter at a B2B SaaS company. Write a marketing email announcing our new project management feature to existing customers, mid-sized tech companies. Tone should be professional but conversational. Keep it under 200 words. The second prompt gives the AI everything it needs to make functional, informed decisions. The persona pattern is powerful. When you tell AI to act as a specific role, a security expert, a CFO, a technical writer, it shifts which pattern it draws from. A security expert reviewing code will flag different issues than a general assistant. Use this strategically. Request. This is your actual ask. The keyword is specific. Vague interests get vague outputs. You need to specify the exact action. Write, analyze, compare, summarize, generate, the format, bullet points, table, narrative, or code, the length or scope, and what success looks like. The more specific your request, the fewer iterations you need. That's time and money saved. A. Amplify with examples. The single biggest mistake people make, they describe what they want instead of showing what they want. This is few-shot prompting, the gold standard technique. Instead of describing what your desired output is, you provide examples. Here is an example of the structure you'd use. You give the AI examples for input and output, then ask it to generate a response using those examples as reference. That's infinitely more effective than respond professionally and empathetically. You're creating a latent space for the model to mirror your specific style, syntax, and standards. F. Format and structure. This is about controlling how the output is organized. LLMs can format outputs in virtually any structure you specify. You can use templates with an exact structure. You can use step-by-step, which is asking the AI to break it into numbered steps. You could ask it for chain of thought, explaining its reasoning before the final answer. Or you could give it output constraints, respond only with JSON, or give exactly 5 options. The template pattern is critical for business use cases. T. Test and iterate. Here's the reality. You won't nail it on the first try. The best prompt engineers treat prompts as hypotheses. They save prompts that work, building a personal library. They analyze failures. They think what was missing that caused this output. They iterate systematically, changing one element at a time. Use follow-ups to refine. Make this more concise, or add technical detail to section 2. The question refinement pattern is useful here. Ask the AI, I'm trying to get a desired outcome, but my prompt is giving me this problem. Suggest 3 alternative phrasings. You're using the AI to improve your prompts to the AI. Let me rapid fire 4 additional patterns from academic research. The fact check pattern. After your response, list key facts your answer depends on that should be verified. It builds quality control against hallucinations. The recipe pattern. Defining a sequence of steps. First, you ask the AI to identify the problem. Then, you ask it to brainstorm 3 solutions, critiquing each solution and then selecting the best. This prevents rushing to conclusions. Flipped interaction. Ask me the questions you need answered to complete this task. Let the AI interview you. It often knows what information it needs better than you know what to provide. These are systematic approaches to constraining the AI's output space toward what you actually need. Now, let's talk about the ROI. Why this depth matters. Let's talk outcomes. For individuals, this is the difference between using AI as a search engine and using it as an agent. Master these patterns and you can automate 80% of your administrative load. Research, first drafts, analysis, email responses, all handled by the prompts that encode your decision-making logic. For businesses, it's about predictability. If you can't predict what the AI will say, you can't put it in front of a customer. You can't integrate it into sales. You can't trust it with your brand. High-level prompt engineering creates guardrails, ensuring the AI stays on brand, remains factually grounded, follows compliance requirements, and delivers consistent value across 10,000 interactions. Time savings. Better prompts mean fewer iterations. What took 5 exchanges now only takes 1. Quality improvements. Outputs that meet your standards the first time. Cost reduction. Fewer tokens used means less money wasted. Competitive advantage. The companies that systemize first will outperform those that don't. Prompt engineering isn't a hack. It is a foundational literacy for the next decade of work. Remember where we started? Researchers found that rude prompts outperformed polite ones, but the real insight isn't about the tone. It's that the AI doesn't care about social graces. It cares about signal, logic, structure, clarity. The cleaner your signal, the better your output. If you've watched this far, you understand something that most people don't. AI is the most powerful leverage any of us have ever had access to, but leverage it in the wrong direction and it's a disaster. Leverage without a system is chaos. If you're a business leader or founder looking to deploy AI at scale, building custom AI agents, automating your sales pipeline, systematizing content production, training your workforce on these patterns, this is what we do. We'll analyze your current tech stack, identify the highest leverage opportunities, build a roadmap for competitive advantage. Stop experimenting and start executing. Email me to book a free AI strategy consultation. Don't let your competition figure this out first. If you enjoyed watching this video, hit like and subscribe for more deep dives. I'll see you in the next one.